For some, basketball is just a game. But for Bol Bol, it's deeper. It's about legacy. One that was left, and one that will be passed on. They say history repeats itself. But sometimes history is learned from, then the knowledge and lessons acquired can change dynamics entirely.
Good for three. He's shaking his head.
Especially when the present not only learns from the past, but learns to build on the foundation that was set before.
Down the middle. Two-handed dunk.
Bol's father Manute left some unfinished business, not only in the NBA, but in the real world. Now the bar he set for himself is high, and that's because his 7'7" father stood tall. Manute Bol was born during the Civil War to a 6'8" father and a 6'10" mother. His great-grandfather was reportedly 7'10". It was in a small town in southern Sudan on October 16, 1962, or so it was speculated since the Dinka didn't keep track of birth records. The Dinka tribal elder gave him the name Manute, which means special blessing. What a name to be given in a time of civil unrest, poverty, fear, and violence. The continent's longest civil war was in full effect. It would eventually displace more than 4 million and kill another 2 million people. There were economical, political, tribal, and religious conflicts strangling the entire country. Manute seen the extremities war had to offer: starvation, murder, and abuse at a level that would traumatize most. In 1978, when oil was discovered in the southern region, it only made things worse. Now 2 poor military adversaries would upgrade all of their weapons and intensify the nightmare. Every person in Sudan had horror stories. Villages were burned, people were pillaged, women ravaged, children orphaned, and blood ran in the dirt. Land was seized and oil rigs were constructed. The level of revenge and sheer savagery that went on in the Sudan is rarely reported accurately. A part of the Dinka tribe, which are some of the tallest people in the world, Manute grew up as normal as a boy could at the time. He herded cattle and played games with his peers, but he always wanted more.
When I grew up, I was a cow keeper. I keep cows, and I tried to leave. When I was young, 10 years old, I tried to leave the country. The city, tried to go to school, but my dad didn't allow me to leave. He wanted me to be a cow keeper because it was me and my sister only. And I got a couple of step-brothers. So when I ran away 2 times, my dad always looked for me and he brought me back to the village. And then 1979, I started playing basketball. I went and talked to my cousin. A cousin of mine, he's in England now. My cousin dragged me to the basketball court. I took a couple of dribbles and I tried to dunk the ball. Lost my 2 teeth in the rim. I broke my teeth, so I decided at that time that I should play basketball, and I went and told my father. My dad said no, so I snuck out in the house and I went back to the city and I started playing basketball.
From 18 to 20 years old, Bol dedicated himself to the game. He had a lot of ground to make up with such a late start, so he trained twice as hard.
And I become a basketball player, practice like 2 times a day, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the evening.
When Manute was 20, he was spotted by American coach Don Feely, who arrived in the Sudan in 1982. He was there to help them improve their national team and couldn't help but notice him. Don convinced him it was in his best interest to go to the U.S.
But I never know about American, I never heard about American, and then I came to the city. I saw American with a nice socks, nice shoes, everybody looking good, And they were saying that if you go to the United States, you can be a good player.
So in 1983, he went to college in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and played Division II basketball for the Bridgeport Purple Knights. The small school was heading towards bankruptcy. That is, until Bol got there. Manute attracted national news, and he was treated like a rock star in the home games and on campus. His presence single-handedly rescued the school from their financial problems. His inevitable departure would be equivalent to LeBron leaving Cleveland. Manute could see the value he brought to his school, and so desperately wanted to share that with his people.
I love my country, and I want to help my people. I feel bad what's going on there, and sometimes I think about that.
He was having fun playing college ball. But people went on record saying he always had a seriousness about him. His mind never strayed too far away from his countrymen.
Send some money to my people and help them out.
So in 1984, he decided to go pro. He signed a contract with the Rhode Island Gulls, a team in the USBL. This was his audition for the next level, and he pulled out all of the stops, averaging 14 rebounds and 11 blocks. With a stat line like that, he felt comfortable entering the NBA draft, and the Washington Bullets felt comfortable drafting him. He went second round, 31st overall pick. In his rookie season, he averaged more blocks than the league had ever seen a rookie get, 5 per game, with 6 rebounds and 3.7 points. He would go on to play 9 more seasons in the NBA for the Warriors, 76ers, and the Miami Heat from 1985 to 1994. He made over $11 million, a lot of which he used on the people of Sudan. Some would say he was generous to a fault, but he'd seen so much suffering growing up, he couldn't imagine living lavishly without giving.
If I have it again, I would do the same thing, to liberate my people.
He wanted all of his people to live free and prosperous lives. But Manute got rich fast. He lacked money management. After giving and raising millions for Sudan, he barely had enough money left for himself. And in 1998, he ended up back in Sudan, back in a village hut, and back where he started.
I think that what I was doing was right. But sometimes you feel bad about it because you're a guy that made a better good living.
It was a shock to most that Manute used up all of his money, but he did the best to live without regret and move forward. He continued being a symbol of hope in Sudan, staying present on the political and humanitarian scene, which put a target on his back. Things began to heat up as his opposition accused him of being a spy. They colluded to take him out. Manute knew he would have to leave the home he loved and spent so much of his time and resources trying to rebuild. He wouldn't be able to escape the Sudan until 2001, though. So 1 year after he came back to his country, and 2 years before he would leave the country, on November 16, 1999, he and his wife had a son. They named him Bol Bol. Bol was born in the midst of uncertainty and danger. Miraculously, in 2001, they were able to escape and eventually made it to the U.S. For the next 8 years, Manute raised Bol to be a man with integrity, character, and to always think of others, instilling in him the confidence to accomplish whatever he set his mind to.
You want to be just like your daddy?
Yes.
In his latter years, Manute spent a lot of time with his son Bol, preparing him for the world.
I love you too.
Love you too, Dad.
The love they shared was apparent.
Mama, you know what your dad used to do, right?
Yes.
What I used to do?
He used to dunk over people.
June 19, 2010, Manute Bol passed away at 47. Bol Bol was only 10 years old. He knew that he would never forget his dad's teachings. He would make him proud and take care of the family. At 10 years old, he was already 5 foot 10 inches. By high school, he was nearly 7 feet. And he had arrived.
Best advice my dad gave me was never give up and always have a strong heart.
He took his father's advice from high school into college.
Eastern Washington beat Stanford last year. Bol on the move.
Gives it up. And this time.
At Oregon, he averaged 21 points, 9.6 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks. Even more crazy, he was shooting 52% from the three-point line.
Here's Bol looking for his first collegiate three. Got it into Bol. One-on-one turnaround. Nails it. Foul was on Trevion Bell. Here's Bol backing it up and turning it around over hip hill and rattles it home.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
Bol was locked in and focused. His goal was to make it to the NBA, and all his hard work would pay off.
The Miami Heat select Bol Bol from Khartoum, Sudan, and the University of Oregon.
Bol had a foot injury in college. He had to have surgery. Therefore, missing most of the season, only playing 9 games. Because of that, he went late in the draft, number 44. Teams thought he was too skinny and might not be durable enough.
What do you want to prove when you step on the court?
I just want to prove everyone wrong and just come out and be the best player I can be.
And that's what he did.
Be his 10th. Bol coming in, and he puts it away. Bol.
And Bol.
Iguodala turns it over. Bol back in. Nice feet ahead.
Oh, my
what
goodness.
a pass. And you have to value the ball. Bol lane open and again lays it in. Why not? Why not, big fella? Bad pass by George, though. Look at Bol handle a ball down the lane and throw it down. How about that for the big man? A little coast to coast.
He spent 3 years in Denver, where he showed the world he was something special. But the Denver Nuggets didn't believe what they were seeing, so they pushed him to the Orlando Magic. This atmosphere would be very different than the last, and that's mainly because of his new coach. As soon as he walked into the building, he felt he would be able to grow here.
You know, they can't get yanked every time they're trying to make the right play and just happen to turn it over.
Coach Jamal Mosley would work him into the rotation. He took an approach that Bol was familiar with: family.
Come on. Let's go, guys. 1, 2, 3, family.
He had something to prove coming into the league, but he had to wait patiently for 3 years in Denver. He spent the entire time working, and all of the fans in the Amway Center get to see what he's been working on. His father Manute taught him to seize the moment, and the moment is upon us. Wearing the same number, he'll add to the legacy. Orlando, I hope you're ready for who I call the giant highlight reel.
And Bol swoops down the middle. This is Brown, rejected by Bol. Jackson, Bol blocks it from behind. Bol picks it up. His jumper is good.
He's not technically the star of the team, but he shines bright.
Launches a high rainbow shot, knocks it down.
Bol had another strong performance. What did you see of him tonight?
Well, you know, just as he got a little bit more comfortable within the game, his ability to take the ball off the glass and push the break, decision making. After, he turned it over a couple times early, but then his ability to slow it down and start to make the right decision down the stretch.
Bol's father Manute started training in his late teenage years, which limited his skill on the court. He could dunk, he could block shots, and occasionally shoot and get hot. But his son Bol is the 3.0 version. He can score from anywhere. He's got the handles, he's got the vision, he's got the complete arsenal. Teams thought he wouldn't be healthy right now, but the joke's on them. Bol is going to finish what his father started. His spirit lives on. Everything Manute was doing in the Sudan, his son has said he's going to complete. But first things first, he has to do the work on the court. He'll draw from everything his father taught him, learning from his mistakes and his success. And that is how the legacy continues. Subscribe to this channel if you want to follow the journey. My name is Bol'S.